Perfect. Good morning. Thank you everyone for being here. I'm super excited. This is our first MAPS University workshop. I don't know, I lost count number of baby that it's born. I have been dreaming on launching this project ever since my oldest son was like 5 or 6 years old. So I'm super excited to be able to share these with everybody. And what we're gonna do to start is that I want you guys to really sink in on what it takes for you to earn your first $1 million. And we are going to talk about how you guys are going to be able to get to that if you are surrounded by people who haven't earned $1 million yet, or if your family members haven't been able to get to that point. Well, let me tell you that the past does not guarantee the future. So you guys are gonna be the first, just because you guys woke up so early today on a Sunday to be here to understand money, to understand your life. You're not gonna have to depend on anybody. And just know that your parents and your family members have done the best that they can with the information that they know. Our parents have done the most amazing job of raising us and giving us shelter, giving us food, giving us the beginning of our lives. But that does not depend that we have to follow on their footsteps or that we have to believe their beliefs. You guys are gonna be the first ones to know this recipe. And when I say the first ones, this is something that it's not a secret that is kept for the rich. This is a secret that is kept for the ones that are hungry. When we are comfortable, when we're too comfortable, we don't seek opportunities, and we don't want to, like, it doesn't matter if it's there or if it's not there. There's a bunch of books, there's a bunch of information. You guys have the internet. Like, you guys have the biggest problem in, like, any generation. You guys have way too much information. That's the biggest problem, that when we have a lot of information, we don't know what decision to take or what to do or where to go. There's so many options. And the reality is that we want it to be like most of the new generation want that decision to be the perfect decision. And in life doesn't work like that. You guys are here, you guys were born to grow. And growth means that you have to have learning experiences. And unfortunately, we grew up thinking that failing is something bad. You don't want to fail. That's one of the biggest lies of life. You have to freaking fail. Because if you don't fail, you're not going to learn. Your parents can tell you all they want about don't do this or do that, or this is what's going to happen. At the end of the day, you got to learn your own way. And that's just life. That's just experience. So the ones that are very hungry to have a different lifestyle, when I'm an immigrant, and when I had my first son, I was 18. And ever since he was born, I made the decision. I didn't have the money. I did not have the money. But when I had the baby in my arms, I said, he's not going to go to public school. He's going to go to the best programs. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but he's not going to public school. We live in Oakland. Those of you who know Oakland, you know what I'm talking about. Said he's not going to go to public school. I was only 18 years old. I made the decision that he was not going to have the lifestyle that I had or that other people around me had. And I made that decision. So whatever it is that you want to accomplish in life, I don't know how old you are, but at the end of the day, the key to success is not coming from rich parents, of hitting the lottery. The key here is that you make the decision of what you want. And that is the biggest obstacle that you guys have, because like I said, you have the internet. And because you have the internet, you have a lot of information. So I'm going to start with you, Avelino. Please read out loud this slide and just read it consciously. Just really mean what you're reading, okay?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so here are a few ways to make $1 million. So salary of 50K for 20 years, salary of 100K for 10 years, salary of 250K for 4 years, earn $114 per hour every hour of the year. 5,000 people buy a $200 product. 2,000 people buy a $500 product. 10,000 people buy a $100 product. 1,000 people buy a $1,000 product. 5,000 people pay $17 per month for 12 months. 2,000 people pay $42 per month for 12 months. 1,000 people pay $83 per month for 12 months. 500 people pay $167 per month for 12 months. And then 300 people pay $278 per month for 12 months.
Perfect. Thank you. Alondra, you're next.
Okay, what am I reading? Can you read all of it?
You're going to read the whole thing. You're going to read it all over
Okay.
again. The whole thing.
Okay. Salary of 50,000.
We'll start with the line in the top.
Okay. Here are a few ways to make $1 million. Salary of 50,000 for 20 years. Salary of 100,000 for 10 years. Salary of 250,000 for 4 years. Earn $114 per hour every hour of the year. 5,000 people buy a $200 product. 2,000 people buy a $500 product. 10,000 people buy a $100 product. 1,000 people buy a $1,000 product. 5,000 people buy $17. 5,000 people pay $17 per month for 12 months. 2,000 people pay $42 per month for 12 months. 1,000 people paid $83 per month for 12 months. 500 people pay $167 per month for 12 months. And 300 people pay $278 per month for 12 months.
Perfect. Thank you, Alondra. Areli?
Hi.
You're next. I want you to read it again, just the way they did it, please. And then Alan, you're next after Areli.
Okay, my internet is like failing sometimes, but I'm going to try. Salary 50K for 20 years. Salary 100K for 10 years. Salary 50K for 4 years. Earn 114 per hour every hour of the year. 5,000 people buy a 200 product. 2,000 people buy a 500 product. 10,000 people buy a 100 product. 1,000 people buy a 100 product. 5,000 people pay 70 per month for 12 months. 2,000 people pay 42 per month for 12 months. 1,000 people pay 83 per month for 12 months. 500 people pay 167 per month for 12 months. 300 people pay 2,078 per month.
Thank you, Areli. I know your connection kind of goes on and off, but we did hear most of it. Thank you. Alan, you're next. You need to read the whole thing since the beginning, please. And I don't see you. Now I can't hear you. Hello?
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so start from the top and read it like you mean it. Really understand what you're reading, please.
Here are a few ways to make $1 million. Salary 50K for 20 years. Salary 100K, 10 years. Salary 250K, 4 years. Earn $114 per hour every hour of the year. 5,000 people buy a $200 product. 2,000 people buy a $500 product. 10,000 people buy a $100 product. 1,000 people buy a $1,000 product. 5,000 people pay $17 per month for 12 months. 2,000 people pay $42 per month for 12 months. 1,000 people pay $83 per month for 12 months. 500 people pay $167 per month for 12 months. 300 people pay $278 per month for 12 months.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Avelino, what do you think? What were you thinking when you were listening? Like when you read it, and then Alondra, and then Areli, and then Alan, you listened to this like 3 times, plus the time that you read it. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Like as to the actual, the stuff, or what do you mean?
Yeah, about this information.
I mean, it's good information. I mean, it just puts it into simplicity, that making $1 million isn't pretty simple, I guess. I mean, it's not simple, but it's not hard.
When you actually look at the numbers and do the
Yeah.
math.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Alondra, what about you? What do you think? Now that you read it and you listened to the other ones reading it again.
The numbers don't sound too crazy to me. Like I would think that it was like way crazier, but they don't sound too crazy.
Nice. So when you know the last one that says 300 people pay 278 per month for 12 months. Like someone like 5,000 people buy a $200 product.
Yeah. It doesn't sound crazy at all.
Nice. That's what I was looking for. Like I was looking for that. I'm like, well, it's not a lot when you really think about it. It's not like to become a millionaire this new generation, you guys have to become millionaires. There's no other option to be even financially stable. I'm not even saying financially free, you guys. Financially stable. If you don't want to depend on the government, if you don't want to depend on your parents, if you don't want to live with your parents when you get married or when you start having your children, you have to become a millionaire. The bottom line. Because the cost of living here in the US, just the cost to maintain a household, I don't even want to go to the numbers right now, but the main reason why I wanted to start with this slide, it's because I wanted to make you aware that earning $1 million, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. If you have beliefs of money, that there's not enough money or that it's very difficult to earn money, that's because you don't know the math and you haven't seen it. And most of us are surrounded by people that are living paycheck to paycheck. And we don't see how we can, we don't see how we can make it happen because we're not surrounded by people who are making $1 million. Until you surround yourself with people that are making what you want to make, you're going to realize it's not as hard. But as you're surrounding yourself with people who are not making it, you're going to believe that it's not possible. I'm going to share with you guys this short video, and I am going to ask you guys what it actually means.
3 skills you want to give your kids, and you want these 3 skills if you want to succeed for the rest of your life. First is you have to be able to recognize patterns. It won't matter what the jobs are, won't matter what the business is. If you can recognize patterns, you have an edge. Things look like chaos until you recognize there's a pattern to things. If you can recognize patterns, you can change your life, because once you recognize patterns, you get the second skill. You learn to use patterns. Getting yourself to do the things you don't want to do. It's called discipline, but discipline's a heavy word. What it really is just creating a new pattern. Once it's a habit, it doesn't take discipline, it's easy. If you understand patterns and recognize them and you can use them, you have real power. The third skill is to be able to create patterns. You want to recognize them, use them, and create them. The most successful entertainers, the most successful business people, the most successful musicians, they create new patterns. They build on what they learn from others. That's what you're doing in this business. If you have children, there's 3 skills.
Alan, what does that mean? What is he talking about? What did you understand?
I took away that that discipline doesn't really mean discipline. It's just a new way of making patterns.
And what is a pattern?
Like steps. Like
Hmm.
getting somewhere.
Okay. And what does that has to do with whatever you want to do in your life?
When it's important to have a pattern of where you want to go, because if you don't have anywhere where you want to go, then you're just lost.
That's good. Thank you. As I share here the slide, this is a pattern. If you understand what you need to do and for how long you have to do it, it's easier to get to where you want to go. If you don't have a map, if you don't have a guide, that's when we start feeling anxious and we start feeling fear that we're not going to make it. And I'm going to repeat what I said at the beginning. Your parents have done the best that they can with what they have. Now it's your responsibility to make a change. It's not their responsibility. It's your responsibility to change. They have tried their best and they didn't know the formula. I'm giving you guys the formula, but here's now how are we going to take action? It's just looking at the patterns. It's just looking at the habits that you currently have unconsciously. It just starts with the patterns. Okay. So to start off, I want to show you guys something that I want to bring your awareness of this topic that is very, very, very important. So $1 million is this. Okay, so this guy right here, look down and there's $1 million. $1 billion, this is what it represents, $1 billion. You can still see the man, right? But $1 trillion, are you guys able to see the guy? You're not able to see the guy. So there's a huge difference between a million, a billion, and a trillion. And why am I sharing you guys this? The US, the amount of money that has been printed, literally, when parents said money doesn't grow on trees, well, it actually does, because it's paper that it gets printed, okay? The US printed almost $4 trillion in 2020 during the pandemic. 4 times this right here. 4 times. I want you guys to really sink in. If you really want to have the car, if you really want to go to school, if you really want to work, if you're tired, sick and tired of your parents and you want to move out, you have to understand what I'm talking about. You have to understand that. Okay? So in 2020, the US printed almost 4 times this. What is that? Why does that matter? It matters for the following reason. This is the US table, the history of US tax. This is how much tax was charged in the US in the previous years. The highest tax bracket in 1962 was 91%. On the 1970s, it was 70%. When people say that we're paying too much taxes, they haven't read the history of the tax table years ago. Most of us came from immigrant parents from other countries, which that means that they themselves don't understand the history of money here or where to invest. And the most common advice that we get, save, be conservative, don't risk. The most conservative advice that we get from our parents is just be conservative. Don't take risks. Risks are bad. Don't risk it. But in this country, if we really understand the history, the only way to create wealth is through risking your money, investing your money. But because our parents don't understand that, we're following on the same footsteps. And again, I'm not blaming parents. We're giving them thanks because for them, we're here. But we gotta understand that it is our responsibility to change those patterns, to change those beliefs if we wanna get ahead in life, okay? So, because they don't understand the American system, they cannot give us any other advice but just to save and don't take risk, and save under the mattress or on your savings account and don't risk your money. But when we look at the amount of money that these governments have printed, and what does that actually mean? What does that actually mean? The only way that the future, because the government cannot keep on printing money. The biggest advantage that we have in this country is that the government has the authority to change the tax bracket anytime they want. And I'm gonna give you guys a really bad news. You guys are gonna pay the price of what happened with COVID and what happened through all history. Tony Robbins, Dr. Joe Dispenza, all these amazing coaches, mentors, and successful people are working very hard to create programs for the youth, for you guys, because you guys are gonna have to clean up the mess that we left. We're gonna die. We're gonna go to a better place, and you guys are gonna have to deal with it. That's the reality of it. You guys are gonna have to deal with it. Your kids are gonna have to deal with it. And this is why I'm so passionate about sharing this information and asking you guys to look at education with different eyes. The only way out to be financially stable, it's through education. I don't care if you don't like school. School is one thing, education is another one. You cannot go through life being ignorant about this stuff, because guess what? You're gonna go to work. You're gonna go to work and you're gonna think that you're gonna get 100% of your paycheck, and good news, you're only getting 50% of your paycheck. Those are that are employees, or that they're thinking that you're gonna go to work for somebody else. Or if you have your own small business or you work on your own and you don't wanna pay taxes, you're gonna be looking for deductions, or you're not gonna wanna report anything. But guess what? If you don't report anything, you're not gonna be able to buy anything. You're not gonna be able to invest anything, because in paper, you don't make any money. And in the next class that we're gonna have, I'm gonna talk to you guys about the actual tax. And how does the tax look on your pay stub? And how does the tax look on your taxes? Because that's gonna depend whether you're gonna have opportunities in life or you're not gonna have opportunities in life. You can't go through life being ignorant about this stuff, because you're gonna whine and complain and cry, and what's worse, you're gonna have to keep on living with your parents if you're not able to afford a house to move out on your own. So it's just a way for me to give you guys a wake-up call now, because you guys have the power to make a change. So why is this tax table so important? Because it tells you that At any time, the government can raise the taxes to solve the problem of this printing money. Look, this is another lie that I'm pretty sure you guys have heard. Oh, when you do your taxes, we get money back. Oh, don't go with that person. Go with this person because this person gives you more money back when you file taxes. Maybe you hear your parents saying like, oh, I'm going to get so much money back, or, oh, I'm going to have to pay. The reality is that the money comes out of somebody's pocket. It does not come from the sky or the government. Okay, so if we paid in the taxes and we have deductions, then we're gonna get money back. But if we don't, the money doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from the pocket of somebody, and that somebody, it's gonna be you guys in the future. There's gonna be no Social Security, no pensions, because companies are not. If you look at the mortality table, how old, Alondra, do you remember how old was your grandma when she passed? Around what age?
80 something?
80 something, okay? If you guys work up until age 62 and your life expectancy is 82, that's 20 years. How are you going to support yourself for those 20 years? Are you guys getting my point? It's making and realizing that at the end of the day, you guys are going to pay what we have done and what everybody in this era we're doing. And if you realize that the taxes is something that it's not going to go away, because guess what? We are able to go to the mall without worries. Kids are able to drive from San Francisco to LA with no worries that there's gonna be like something bad. There's other countries that don't have the freedom that we have, and that comes with the price. And that price are the taxes, okay? So this is the history of the, oh, and then by the way, I skipped this slide and I wanna show it again. Sorry, that was the first one. Anyways, difference between million, a billion, and a trillion. A million seconds is 12 days. A billion second is 32 years. A trillion seconds is 31,688 years. I know you guys don't have children now and you don't care about your future children, but there's going to be the point where you're going to have children, you're going to care for them. I'm saying this stuff, it's not staying or ending with your generation. It's going to continue. And only 5% of the population knows this secret because they're hungry. They woke up on a Sunday morning to learn about this stuff. Everybody else is comfortable. Right? Okay, so let's keep on going. Let's look at the difference. Let's look at the difference of investing tax-free versus paying tax. So let's say you save $1 every year for the next 20 years, and you educate yourself and you understand investments, and you're able to duplicate $1 every year. When you don't pay taxes on that dollar in 20 years could be worth $1,048,576. If you pay a 33% tax in that money, you're only gonna have $28,466.20. I had a client who retired at age 62. He worked for waste management, and his philosophy of life was not taking risk. I want my money to be safe. I don't want to risk. He retired at age 62. He still had a mortgage. He was still paying his house. He had his adult children living with him still. And he only had $100,000 on his retirement account. In the Bay Area, in California, we need at least 60, between 50 to 60 grand just for living expenses a year. How long do you guys are thinking that he was gonna be able to live if we have a life expectancy of 80 something, 70 something with 100,000? 100,000 is nothing. We need millions just to have an okay life, not even thinking about having luxuries, just to live an okay life. And that brings me to the first question, Avelino. What does philosophy mean to you? Like when we talk about my client had this philosophy of life, what does philosophy mean to you? Or what does it mean? What do you think it means in general?
It's a great question. I think that philosophy is ultimately the study of ideas, ideas and questions. Because philosophy is ultimately what somebody believes, like you said, right? That guy Billet had a certain belief about money. So yeah, I think philosophy it's ultimately right. The actual definition, right, is that it's the study of ideas, basic ideas. That's the actual definition. But I see it as a way of being able to question your own beliefs. Because the better questions that you can ask, the better life that you can ultimately live. So yeah, that's how I see it.
Give me an example. What is what do you think your perception? Because my son, I'm very proud to say that he's well educated. So he's very analytical. So when I talk to him, it's like he's very analytical. To use very specific words with him. So what would you say is your perception? I know you cannot talk for me or your dad, but what would you say has been our philosophy when it comes down to money or life throughout you growing up and looking at us? What do you think what do you think is our philosophy of money or life?
I think you guys had that philosophy of scarcity in the beginning when you first started out your career, that you weren't gonna say you were gonna save all the money. It's basic. And then you guys learned that having that mindset of scarcity, when you have a mindset of scarcity, there's never going to be enough.
What does scarcity mean?
Like a limit, like there's not how do I say it? Like a lack of something.
Okay, give me an example when parents talk to children in a way of not having enough. Give me an example.
Well, it's like not enough money. Like people who say that, oh yeah, we don't have enough money saved. We don't have enough money in the account yet to go this place or to go to that place. That's the mindset of scarcity of a limit.
And then, sorry that I interrupted.
Wait, what was the question that you asked? I forgot.
You were saying that we started with a scarcity mindset.
Oh yeah. But the thing is that I think you guys realize that at the point that when you get to a mindset of scarcity, you can never have enough because you're constantly saving and there's never a number that is going to satisfy that mindset of scarcity. So I think that's what hit you guys, is that if you continue to believe this way, there's never a limit. There's never going to be enough. You guys are always going to want more in that account. You know what I mean?
You know when that changed, I remember when I got my papers and I was able to travel, and I told my husband, let's go to Cancun, and he's like, what is that? Where is that? How much does that cost? Like, I want to go, I want to take Belly. Alan was just born. And we realized we didn't have enough money to go. And I realized how bad I wanted to go. Anyways, that's another story, but keep going. And
You
then
still went, but it's okay.
And then what happened? What happened to us?
You guys took risk and you took the risk and you saw that I guess you didn't see the payoff right away, but you ultimately saw that it does have a payoff. But it's a lot riskier, to take risk when you already have a family that you gotta provide for versus, someone like me who doesn't have a family. Like it's a great opportunity to take much more risk when you're younger versus when you've already got a full family.
Now, give me an example of philosophy of your peers at school. Okay, here, this is 3 different groups. Okay, philosophy of life. Philosophy, what are your beliefs about life, about money? Philosophy of your high school friends that didn't go to college that are working right now. The philosophy of your college friends that are going through school right now, and the philosophy of your work peers, the people that you're surrounded by right now at work. What would you say is the main difference between those 3 groups on their philosophies of life and money?
Uh, I think that it all starts with what we all want for our own life, whether that be the meaning, right? That's ultimately what it starts with, which is what ultimately depends on what someone's dreams are. You know what I mean? Some people's dreams is just to be, comfortable, have a home, have a family, and that's completely fine. Some people that's what they want. And then there's some people who want to make $1 million, or some people who want to make $1 trillion. The meaning of life compared to that person to the other person is going to be completely different. Some people just want a simple life, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then some people want to have this extravagant life to be able to do whatever they want. And then that's where there's a difference in, I guess you can call it purpose, and then dreams, and then goals, and whatever it is, you know? So, a lot of the friends that I have, they all have different goals. A lot of them, like one of my friends, he's a Christian and he's very heavy on religion, and his goal is to travel the world and do mission trips where he helps different people all around the world, and that's great. That's what he wants to do, and that's what his mission is. Versus I have another friend who's more entrepreneurial and wants to make a lot of money to live a good life, and there's nothing wrong. Like that's great. We all have our own goals, we have our own dreams, and yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. So
So what I'm hearing from you is that the people that are you surrounded with have goals.
yeah, I think we all ultimately
Different goals, different goals. Alondra, I'm gonna ask you to chip in here. Have you noticed or have you heard of goals with your friends your high school friends that didn't go to college, and your college friends that are in college with you right now? What do you think in terms of what Avelino's saying in terms of goals?
Um, I mean, yeah, everybody has their own goals. And also, even within college, like you have people that go just for 2 years. You have people that go for 4 years. We have people that are trying to be doctors. And like I said, everybody has, or like Belly said, everybody has different values, different goals that they want to get to. I also have friends that tried college. They said they were going to work for a little bit and go back to college, and they didn't go back. So, you know, it all just really depends on your values, I guess, and where
What
you
is
really want to get to.
what is it at this point? What do you think it's in your generation? What is the meaning of a goal in your generation? Like, do you think based on what you have learned so far, like the definition of a goal for generation? Is it crystal clear knowing where you're going and how you're gonna get there? Or what do you think it's the real definition of a goal?
Um, I think yes. And but adding on to that is also like accomplishments. I don't know if I could
Mhm.
add on to that. I feel like more for me it's accomplishments. other than, yeah.
And what would you say it's the accomplishment of goals when it comes down to money? What is the beliefs or what is it that you hear from your peers when you guys are referring in terms of money?
Make enough to be able to live good.
And why are you laughing? What do you believe about that? I love that. So why are you laughing?
Because it's like we're setting like, I feel like a low standard. I feel like that's kind of low. I was looking at the numbers, I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of low. I feel like we could all do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I really love how she laughed, we're like just making enough to get together. That is really, really good. That's really good. Thank you guys for sharing. Okay, so the next slide that I want to share with you is this. And Avelino have seen this because this is something that my amazing coach Tony Robbins talks to us all the time. Okay, we have two different scenarios. We have Joe and we have Bob. Joe starts investing at age 19. He saves $300 per month and leaves it to a compound in a tax-free environment at 10% per year, meaning that he earns 10% on his $300 compound every year. Listen to this. He stops investing at age 27. His total investment was $28,800. By the time he's 65, he's gonna have $1,863,287 tax free. He only saved from age 19 to age 27. He only put away 28,000. Okay? And at age 65, he has tax-free $1,863,287. Now let's look at Bob. Bob didn't start it until he was age 27. He also saved $300 per month. He also put it into an account that is tax-free, so he doesn't have to pay taxes when he takes it out. And he also earns 10% per year. He stops investing at age 65. His total investment was $140,000, and he has 1.5 million. He has less. He invested for 38 years. So Bob had to invest for 38 years to get less than what Joe got. Joe only had to invest for 8 years. At age 19, he started. He stopped at age 27, and he has more than Bob. Alondra, what do you think about that?
The difference is crazy. I mean, the numbers, the ages, too.
Yeah. Now the question is, do you think that it's possible for you at this age start saving $300 a month? Do you think it's possible for you where you are right now, what you're doing right now? Do you think it's possible?
I want to say yes, because if I really wanted to, I feel like I could do it. But
That's what I was waiting for, the famous what?
I know.
I love that expression of you.
Yeah, I mean, I've got college, I've got rent, I've got
Uh-huh.
you know, other responsibilities. But I feel like if I really wanted to, I feel like I could.
Now, next Sunday, not today because I don't have enough time, but next Sunday, I'm going to help you guys get rid of the but and the like how she said it, right? Like, oh, how am I gonna do it? Don't make that face, Avelino. Like, because you can feel like she wants it, but it's like, fuck, I have life in front of me. Like, I have all these stuff that I have to take care of, right? And because you haven't been surrounded by people who are already doing it, it seems like it's too far. In the next class, and not next Sunday, but the 20 something, I'm gonna teach you guys how you can start saving those $300 with the lifestyle that you have right now. And we're not even gonna target $1 million. We're not. 300 times 12 months is $3,600. Next Sunday, I'm going to show you, not next Sunday, but the next class, I'm going to show you guys how to make $3,600. Not $1 million, but those $3,600 are going to make you $1 million. And that requires discipline. That does not look, it does not, we don't need to be millionaires to make millionaires or to earn millionaires. We just need to know the map. That's why it's called Maps University, because we only need a map. That's all you need. For a successful body, you just need to know what to eat and what to work out. That's a map. To graduate college, what do you need, Alondra? To go to your counselor and to tell you exactly a map of what classes you have to take to graduate, right? It's a map. If you really want to have a successful relationship, you have to model and you have to follow the map of somebody that already achieved what you want to achieve. It's that simple. We don't have to recreate the wheel. It doesn't have to be complicated. But again, we're not surrounded by people that have those beliefs and those thoughts. And that's what makes it so impossible to achieve. Alan, I still don't see you, but I'm going to ask you. Alan?
Yeah.
Okay. Read me again the story of Joe and Bob. And when you're done, I want you to tell me what does that mean to you as a 17-year-old.
So Joe starts at age 19. He puts $300. He puts away $300 per month and leaves it into a compound in a tax-free environment at 10% per year. Stops investing at age 27. Total investment to $28,800. By age 65, he has $1,863,287. Bob starts at age 27, puts away $300 per month and leaves it to a compound in a tax-free environment at 10% per year. Stops investing at age 65. Total investment was $1,400.
Not $1,400,
Oh wait, sorry,
$140,000.
$140. And at 65, he has 1.5 million.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean to you?
I mean, I think starting earlier is better than starting later, because Joe made more than Bob, and he like started at a younger age, and that just like to me seems more better than just waiting a longer time. I mean, waiting longer to start investing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, starting sooner is better than starting later.
Okay, can I see you now, please? Because I need to ask you another question.